Champions League just isn't the competition for Manchester United this season, is it? It's just not at all. For the third time this season in the group stage, Manchester United have scored 3 goals away from home and not won the game. That's literally unforgivable. But it's such a weird game and a weird situation to try and analyse and look back on. Because another day, Onana doesn't throw 2 balls into his net, the opposition don't score an absolute wonder goal, and United could easily win this game 3-0. We also missed a ton of chances and opportunities late on to put the game to bed. United could have scored 5 here, and on another day, if your keeper performs, only conceded 1. So then you're talking about a good performance. So it's really weird to try and assess, but we are going to try and do that today. We are going to try and assess some of the good things, some of the bad things. And what we're going to do is start with the good. Now, the first thing I should say, to be fair, is in this sort of environment, you know, the hostile atmosphere that was at play, the players which were available for selection, you're always going to get a bit of an end-to-end game at times. Because Galatasaray have plenty of quality, they have plenty of technical ability, which at times will take the game away from you. They take the ball and look after it for a little while. You've got United who are trying to be combative, trying to make the game nice and physical. Galatasaray are also playing quite intense. So it is an intense atmosphere, you're going to get end-to-end football. However, at times, I actually thought United had done an okay job of trying to calm it down a little bit. At times, you know, in spells, not throughout the match. At times, United did slow it down and take extra touches on the ball. I thought Lindelof done a pretty decent job of trying to play out from the back. Even if he was just carrying the ball down the left-hand side and then winning a throw-in, it was at least something rather than constantly pumping the ball long. I also thought that Amrabat done a really good job. In the situations where he was able to drop into a pivot position behind the opposition front two, helping United create this 4 at the back, you know, this diamond. When Amrabat was able to get into these positions here, I thought he'd done a really good job of just taking an extra touch. And the benefit of that is taking lots of touches, keeping the ball close to you. One, it makes it difficult for the opposition to tackle you because you've got the ball nice and tight to your body. But also, it just buys time for the players in front of you to move. It draws the opposition onto you, so then you can perhaps release the pass to someone else. So I thought at times, again, United done that quite well. Something else United done really well was when they got Antony on the ball. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Genuinely, I thought it's phenomenal in this game. I think it's by far his best performance in a United shirt. And what he done really well was he got his first touch under control, second touch out with his feet, and then he's going at his man. And genuinely, he caused a lot of problems down the right-hand side. I think by far it's his best display. He was so threatening, so aggressive in the way that he played, getting into the final third, and then he was smart in the final third, cutting inside onto his left foot, and then rather firing those stupid shots he normally does, he was finding people in the middle with cutbacks or crosses into the box. So I thought Antony was really good. I also thought that when we worked the ball up the line on the other side, Garnacho done a pretty good job as well. Of course, scored that first goal, really well taken, kind of kills the atmosphere of the game. Garnacho had a pretty bright game. Something else that United done well, I told you we're starting with the positives, was that when we did go a little bit longer, so let's say we play the ball out from the back, the opposition press, we decide, okay, maybe we should avoid the risk on this occasion. Let's go back and send the ball long. Scott McTominay was really handy to have here. It's something that we spoke about in the tactical preview in our live stream yesterday. He's just a lot bigger than all of the Galatasaray midfielders, meaning that he could often bring the ball down. And a lot of the time what he was doing, particularly against Torreira, is he would get his arm out to protect the ball, and it was like he was brushing off a child. Such was the physical difference between the pair. From here, the ball would then go wide to Antony, and then McTominay's underlapping runs into this position were brilliant. They were super threatening. Antony was finding them well. United were getting into good areas. And we saw all of these things, which we've just spoken about, in the first and the third goal. So here's the first goal here. 10 minutes into the game, Onana is happy to play the ball from the back. Something which we don't always see at United. Sometimes the ball goes long. But we play the ball out from the back. Victor Lindelof takes a touch, gets the ball out of his feet, and eventually works the ball out wide to Luke Shaw. Now, the reason he's able to work it out to Luke Shaw, apologies for the glitch there. The reason he's able to work it out to Luke Shaw is because Amrabat here makes a movement inside, which drags the Galatasaray man, opening up the passing lane down the bottom to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw can receive the ball. Now, Luke Shaw, as he usually does, you know, he has a good first touch. He gets the ball under control once he's received the pass from Victor Lindelof. Pretty nice. United are playing the ball out well. We can see that Galatasaray have committed a lot of players here, but at the moment, United are being technically secure. They're keeping the ball and playing out from the back. This time, Shaw now goes inside to Amrabat, and Amrabat does something which I think he done well throughout the game. He takes several touches. So we've got a touch here, we've got a touch here, we've got another touch, and then he's eventually going to play the ball back to Onana. Apologies for the glitch again. I'm not sure what's going on there. But he eventually plays the ball back to Onana. But again, by taking extra touches, we can see that he's drawing Galatasaray players into him, which, as we can see also, if you look like above me, it's leaving a lot of space. So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order. So because United have been patient at the back, drawing the opposition in, it creates space further up the pitch, which means that when Onana does eventually go long, it's going to find a player in plenty of space. Now, I'm not sure how intentional this pass is. I don't know if it was a clearance or actually a pass, but it works well. It falls to Scott McTominay, who, as we can see here, gets his arms out, brushes the Galatasaray player off of him, and gets the ball down. Now we can see that United are 1, 2, 3, and also Garnacho behind me, 4 players up against the Galatasaray back line. And I will just move myself out of the way for this so you can see it a bit clearer. But now United are in a really dangerous position. McTominay gets the ball down, eventually plays the ball out wide to Antony. We then see a really good return pass from Antony playing the ball down the line, and Scott McTominay is driving into this channel. He was the man creating the overload in this game, driving forward into this position, and he does so really well. The ball eventually kind of comes back inside, and we get Bruno Fernandes on the ball on the edge of the penalty area. He plays this 1-2 with Rasmus Højlund, so he's going to pass the ball in here and then make a run off the ball. Højlund returns it with some really good physical target man hold-up play, and the ball eventually gets worked wide to Garnacho, who puts the ball into the back of the net. We saw, I felt, really the best of United in that move. And like I said, we're starting with the positives. Don't worry, I'm not delusional. We will cover the negatives as well. But before that, I want to talk about the third goal, because I think this is up there with the best goals scored under Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. So what we can see here is Sofyan Amrabat wants to drop deep in between the two centre-backs, something which he was signed to do. Do this more. Use him in this role way more, because it works well. What we can see is that it allows United to create this 4 versus 2. United have the extra man, and also we have this straight line through the middle which we can utilise. Onana plays the ball into Sofyan Amrabat, and we can see his first touch gets him on the turn. He's dropped the shoulder, he's turning, looking to play forward. This is good play from Sofyan Amrabat. But importantly, he also takes the extra touches as well. This allows United eventually to create this triangle in midfield. Now what we can see from Galatasaray is something that I really highlighted in my tactical preview, and that was that when they press, sometimes they stagger their midfield two like this. And this meant that United now had a 3 versus 2 situation in this part of the pitch. This was again something we highlighted before the game, and it worked really well. Sofyan Amrabat's going to play the ball into Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay is going to get on the turn, a good first touch. Plays the ball to Antony. We can see Antony moving inside. Wan-Bissaka is going to fly around the outside. Now let me move myself over here. So this is still good play. Antony takes a good first touch, gets the ball out of his feet, and he's going to drive forward. Wan-Bissaka is going to fly forward around the outside. Eventually we get to the edge of the penalty area. Scott McTominay has continued his run. Antony works the ball wide to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who puts the ball into the box for Scott McTominay. The ball is in the back of the net. So United genuinely played some really good football in this game. We've seen it in both of those goals. That's great play. However, at the end of the day, you can't score 3 goals and not win. It's unacceptable. Now, yes, we can sit there and say, Onana, he does give them 2 goals, really. Like, he shouldn't concede either of those first 2. I know we can say the first goal, the wall, it shouldn't count because the Galatasaray players are too close to our wall. By the letter of the law, they're too close. So, well done, officials, once again, helping us out. I appreciate that. Useless. Onana was poor. It's not acceptable from Onana to make those 2 mistakes, but he knows that, right? So again, it's why it's difficult to analyse, because United scored 3 goals and probably only dropped points because of Onana. However, what I will say is that I don't think the game management is great from Ten Hag either, because, you know, look at the shot stats. 16 shots from Galatasaray, 17 from United. Which means, basically, we saw an end-to-end game where both teams are having shots, which is exactly what Galatasaray wanted. They wanted an end-to-end game with saves at both ends, tackles at both ends, to get the crowd going. The crowd did not need a second invite to get going in that game. And when you create an open game like this, the crowd really get behind them. And when United are 3-1 up, I just think Ten Hag makes bad decisions. So, if we go over to the tactical board again, I don't think United were tactically set up that well at any point in the game. I should clarify that, right? But, through moments of quality, good execution in the final third, United are 3-1 up. Now you have a decision to make on how you're going to play. Now, he brings Rasmus Højlund off, which people are questioning. It's daft to question it. He clearly wasn't fit. I think we could see that throughout the game. So Martial comes in. It's annoying that we had to do that. It does change the game. But, you know, it had to happen. The sub I don't get so much is bringing Sofyan Amrabat off at this point in the game. Around the 55th minute. Now, I understand he was booked, but I think he's an experienced player. You just put a bit of faith in him. But we see Kobe Mainoo come in. Now, no criticism to Kobe Mainoo here. I thought he was really good when he came on. I thought he played a great game, threw some great touches again. But the problem is more the mindset of the team at this point. So United are 3-1 up away from home in a game which has been chaotic end to end and both teams have had big chances. 3-1, you do two things. You either really shut up shop and, sit deep, compact and try and play on the counter-attack, which is one option, but perhaps not ideal. The other option is to play possession football and keep the ball. What you shouldn't do at 3-1 up away from home in the Champions League in a must-win game, and this is where I'm blaming Erik ten Hag, is you should not keep this game open. It was too open in the first place. It was bad tactically for the first hour, but United were 3-1 up due to a brilliant execution. But at this stage, McTominay should not be this high, Bruno Fernandes should not be this high, and Kobe Mainoo should not be this deep, alongside the back line. Because what we had was that Kobe Mainoo, defensively was having to cover all of this space here on Ndombele, also all of this space here on Torreira, but also when Mertens was making runs forward, he was also responsible for tracking into the back line as well. So you're telling me we have an 18-year-old holding midfielder who is responsible for marking 3 different players because our midfielders are so high up the pitch. It's embarrassing management. And I'm a big fan of Erik ten Hag. I backed him a lot. This, from a defensive point of view, is embarrassing. It's unacceptable. It's naive. It's schoolboy. This isn't how you coach and manage a game at 3-1 up. It's just silly. Now, of course, some of the problem as well is the same problem we've seen all season, and I actually want to do a video on this tomorrow, and that is the vertical spacing in the team. So what we often talk about is, when we talk about being compact, I think we talk about being quite narrow and, close together this way. But we also have to be vertically compact. United, again, weren't. We've got, our striker is quite high. We've got, our wingers are quite high, although, again, no blame on them. They worked really well. We've got 2 really high central midfielders, but then we're asking our holding midfielders to drop really deep, and also the centre-backs are incredibly deep. We are opening the pitch up so much. The space in the middle here is just ridiculous. All it takes is a ball somehow finding Ndombele in this position, and he has 30 yards he can carry the ball into. It's unacceptable game management. Now, like I said, some people will think it's harsh to criticise Ten Hag, because again, Onana puts the ball in his net twice. Like, come on, United should have won this game 3-1, if not more. Facundo Pellistri late on kills 4 incredibly good chances. It was poor from Facundo when he came on. I think he had a really bad cameo, but, he's a young player. These things happen. But, from Ten Hag's point of view, you've got to shut the game up. At 3-1, shut up shop, be compact. Also keep the ball. Not play this end-to-end football which invites shots for the opposition. It gets the crowd behind the opposition, and it gives them chances. The second you lose control, you lose the chance of getting points. You're giving away more shots. And when you give away more shots, you're going to concede goals. With Onana, I don't really know what's going on in the Champions League. Hopefully he bounces back. But for me, it was the game management and the defensive structure which was the problem. Now again, on that defensive structure, the vertical spacing of the team, video on that coming tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe, get notifications on, leave a like on the video, all of that good stuff. Because there's plenty of content coming to the channel over the next few days. But it's not acceptable at 3. You can't throw away another lead like this. Again, like I've said already, to have 3 games away from home in the Champions League this season, 3 pretty hostile environments. Bayern, the Allianz Arena, it's an incredibly tough place to go because they're so good. Copenhagen, they were intense in the way that they played, and the fans were intense. Galatasaray, probably the most intimidating atmosphere in Europe. To go or to score 3 goals in all of those games and not win a single one is criminal. And what we've also seen is, yes, individual mistakes throughout the group stage, but we've seen different players playing these systems, which suggests the system is the problem. But that's a conversation for another day. In terms of today's video, we are finished there. So let me know what you guys think. Did we deserve to win? I actually still think we did, because the goals we conceded were so stupid. So I still think we deserve to win. But who's to blame? Is it the manager? Is it Onana? Is it the players on the pitch not taking control? Someone like McTominay not having enough touches on the ball? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.